Hello, my friends, and welcome to the premier Realm News Flash Hytale edition. Wow, Realm News is really expanding out there, aren't we? Now we have Realm News Flash for Minecraft, and now we have a Realm News Flash for Hytale edition. Folks, this show is still evolving. I don't know how committed I can make the Realm News Flash, but this might be a weekly thing or every day. I don't know. With the way the news is rolling out, this might be something I have to respond to daily. But I would like to make a weekly regular show. So I know that I said Wednesdays are going to be with Neon Scoop or Neon Gaming Adventures. That's still going on. In fact, I'm going to be recording with them. I'm recording this, by the way, on Sunday, November 23rd at 2:16 p.m. I'm dating the show so you know what time I'm doing this, because the news is constantly in flux with Hytale and it's changing constantly. So by the time this comes out, things may have changed. I'm going to post this tomorrow, Monday the 24th, November 24th, for you all publicly to hear. If you're a copper tier member on Patreon, then you're going to have access to this right away. So sign up at patreon.com/realm news and you'll get these right as soon as they're published. Anyways, this is brand new. Realm News is brand new in the Hytale space. Well, not really. I've been covering this since June when everything went down with Riot Games dropping them, but I am brand new to the Hytale space in comparison to some people. I've been following this for like 10 years. So we are breaking ground here. I'm going to give you this in-depth report of everything that's occurred since it's been saved, essentially. You heard Neon Gaming and I talk last week. That was amazing, and that's what we're going to keep doing. He's going to have his Wednesday show, and I'm going to be doing these Realm News Flashes covering the journalistic ends of Hytale, and he's going to be streaming and sharing his videos and publishing that. I'll be publishing those underneath the Realm News Hytale brand every Wednesday, so that way you can see our gaming experience and Realm News in the game, and you'll see it through Neon Gaming Adventures eyes. It's going to be amazing, folks. Anyways, what a great time to be alive in the video game industry and to have a podcast. I'm so happy about it. We have several news reports to discuss. In today's episode, we're diving into a whirlwind of updates straight from the Hytale development team. Here's what we'll be covering. Kevin, quote-unquote, Slikey, Carstens blog post will be dissecting his insights on Hytale's modding strategy, the current challenges, and the roadmap for improvement. Then Simon Collins-Laflamme's candid tweets have just been everywhere. We'll get the latest on development progress, early access release hints, and his transparent approach to Hytale's growth. Then Hytale pricing details. We'll break down the aggressive pricing strategy, the different editions available, and what this means for the community. After that, there's a tribute to Technoblade tweet where we will discover that Heartfelt plans to honor Technoblade's legacy within Hytale, I should say. And then there's the Support a Creator program where we're going to learn how content creators and modders can benefit from Hytale's revenue sharing initiative. After that, we got Hytale vs. Minecraft a little bit here, where we'll explore the differences between these two sandbox giants and how Hytale is carving its own unique path. Then there's development updates, from gameplay mechanics to new features like the revamped shovel and exploration mode tweaks. We've got all the details here. Then the upcoming blog post that was announced today by Colin at just a couple hours ago, which is a sneak peek into what's next. Creative tools for builders are on the horizon. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. On November 20th at 3:06 p.m., Kevin Carstens, aka Slikey, the technical director of Hytale, released a blog post on Hytale.com titled Hytale Modding Strategy and Status. In summary, the article states that Hytale modding is currently in a rough state, with missing tools, documentation, and exposed systems. Despite this, the developers are committed to releasing the server source code within 1 to 2 months to help modders understand and improve the game. They are also prioritizing asset pack distribution, custom UIs, and overall stability improvements based on community feedback. Despite the blog post by Slikey stating, quote, the developers are committed to releasing the server source code within 1 to 2 months. End quote. Simon Collins-Laflamme that same day on the 20th at 11:14 a.m., hours prior to the blog post on Twitter, said this. Quote, starting next week, we will test Hytale across different hardware to determine the minimum specs, fix major crashes, improve overall security, test the launcher, and finish up legal work to get the game ready for early access. By the end of that week, we will announce a precise release date. Tomorrow, we will announce Hytale pricing details. Later today at Slikey_dev, we'll post a blog about modding. End quote. And This is to be announced if you were to, by the end of next week, is next Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Just put that in perspective. So we're hoping to hear something very soon, folks. Like potentially when this releases, when you're listening to this, maybe you'll know something on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Who knows? It's going to be this week probably. Laflamme stayed up late working on Hytale into the wee hours the next day because at 2:18 a.m. he posted on Twitter this as a follow-up to the release date. Quote, end of next week, we will decide and announce the precise early access release date. Apologies if it's confusing. We are moving fast on multiple fronts and sometimes my tweets are all over the place. End quote. No need for apologies, Monsieur Laflamme, but you are correct in being all over the place. My podcast, being a news podcast, can barely keep up with all of what is going on in the Hytale sphere. It is truly moving at light speed. Moving on down the blog post, Slikey, right after the introductory paragraph, is you can find a section titled Mission, Modding at the Core of Hytale, explaining that modding is at Hytale's core when it comes to the game. He goes on to explain that pretty much everything you see in the game, you will be able to manipulate to your desire. It looks pretty fantastic, to be honest. It looks like a modder's dream. Allow me to quote him. Quote, blocks, items, NPCs, world generation, UIs, systems, and behaviors are all driven by data and code that you can influence. End quote. Simply amazing if you ask me. It sounds like Realm News will have to get into the modding aspects of the game just for the experience. The blog post then goes on to state some key principles that Slikey wants Hytale aspire to. He states that the modding is not where he wants it to be right now, but they are working on getting it to their standards. Here are those key principles. Let's read off the key principles for Hytale modding. I have them all summed up here, so I'm not going to read off it all verbatim because there's a lot of wording in that blog post by Slikey. Anyways, let's start with server side first. All mods are hosted on the server, whether in single player or multiplayer. No need for external downloads, just join and play with the server setup. One community, one client. No client mods are supported to keep the game stable and unified. All creativity and variations come from servers. Next, modding for longevity. Hytale is built to support modders long term, fully embracing their contributions. Next, empowering modders, protecting players. Modders have freedom to innovate while players stay safe from security risks linked to other platforms. The summary here, Hytale treats both single-player and multiplayer as server-based experiences, focusing modding efforts on the server side to ensure stability, community, cohesion, and security. The article goes in much further depth and detail, but I will not be going into that in this episode because I simply do not have the time. As I said, there is news coming out almost hourly around this game, and by the time you listen to this, there will be much more news to report on. So keep that in mind, please, as you listen to these Realm News Hytale news reports. I'm doing my best to cover this in real time. I would like to now move on to some more recent posts that have been made by Simon Collins-Laflamme. On November 21st, Simon posted this, quote, Hytale pricing details 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, end quote. Realm News waited with anticipation for the pricing tiers to release, and they did exactly on the time Simon said. 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, I learned from a post made by Hytale on Twitter that the standard version of the game, which is also the most basic and base level, will start at the price point of $19.99. That's an amazing price, folks. You can't buy anything for $19.99 these days. This is like early 2000s infomercial prices. At Hypixel also attached this post to the aforementioned one. Quote, if you wish to support the team and Hytale's development, we will be offering a supporter and founders pack that offers cosmetics like capes, hats, and more, end quote, which is really cool. That gives some incentive to raise some money there for the game, along with a pick of these 3 pricing tiers that you can choose to pay for, which was also attached to that. It had a picture, and it had a tier by tier starting from on the left with the $19.99 for the standard, then in the middle a $34.99 for what's called the supporter pack, and then on the very right of the 3, a $69.99 pack called Cursebreaker, which is appropriately called Cursebreaker because he's releasing this, and that's going to break the curse of Hytale. I will be buying the standard version because the Dark Lord is poor. Mr. Laflamme has come out and has been completely 100% honest in stating that this will be an extremely buggy and glitchy game when it releases. They just want to get it out there to break the curse and for people to play and provide feedback to the Hytale team so they can make improvements on the game over time. Feedback is huge for Laflamme, and you can see that in how he communicates with the Hytale community. I, for one, have never seen such an active CEO. I am impressed with Laflamme's commitment to the game, and you can see that he is truly passionate about this game and his clients. To further enhance Hytale's pricing narrative, I'd like to share another post made on the same day, November 21st at 9:19 a.m., 19 minutes after the $19.99 price tag was announced. This post features a quote from Laflamme. Quote, I'm pricing Hytale as aggressively low as possible. I'm taking on a considerable personal risk after repurchasing the game and getting it ready for early access for a growing team of now 50 talented individuals. I said I was all in, and I am delivering on that promise. The game is unfinished and runs on a build from over 4 years ago. Charging more didn't feel right. I don't think the game is good yet. My team and I will push hard to make it good, then great. The vision is clear and progress is fast. I want as many players as possible to jump in. Times are tough in the current economy for a lot of you, and I want everyone to have a fair chance to be part of what comes next. Thank you for your support. End quote. I love that he has a robust team of 50 developers and that he's consciously thinking of the world economy and how many people can't afford video games, honestly. Just things are too expensive right now, but he's pricing it so that many people can afford this. And I was very pleased to read in the article posted on November 17th titled Hytale is Saved, written by Simon, that he had hired more than 30 of the original developers who, quote, know this game inside and out, end quote. He said that they are going back to the original vision of Hytale, and he states that he is personally committed to funding the game for the next decade. Simply amazing. And I think that just gives us a lot of room to give a big sigh. 10 years, a whole decade, we can now feel comfortable knowing that it'll definitely be in the works for a decade, which should give us great comfort as players. Now that we are caught up to speed there, I would like to now read off another post made on the 21st. He was very busy posting that day. Over him explaining his love for Minecraft and how Hytale is different from Minecraft and that they are their own games that can essentially coexist with one another. Ever since the news that Hytale has been saved was announced, a divide was created by the trolling and begrudged people who lurk online to create rage bait. Many people have been slandering Hytale by saying that it's a knockoff of Minecraft or just a Minecraft with add-ons. A mutual of mine named @Antarctic0, who wanted me to point out is a new content creator and that you should all go and support them. I'll be leaving their link in the show description for you to find them. Well, anyways, my friend Antarctico made a post that Simon replied to. Quote, Minecraft and Hytale. After all this time, Hytale will be released and hopefully coexist with Minecraft. Either of those is original and has its own personality. What are your thoughts on this? Hashtag Hytale, hashtag Minecraft, hashtag Hytale is saved, end quote. Simon then replied to this, quote, Minecraft is one of the greatest games of all time. It has perfected many designs that no one appreciates. Hytale is going in a very different path. We are more going into adventure aspects as a core game with modding in mind. We will not have things like redstone, for example. Magic will be part of the Hytale in many aspects, very much so with a fantasy feeling. Another thing is our crafting is more so like the games like Valheim/Terraria instead of grid crafting. So it's very different and allows us to go in a different direction. I have great respect for the people of Mojang. They have created an amazing game and community. Our games will be very different. Minecraft is still one of my favorite games of all time. End quote. I love that Simon made this statement and clarified that Hytale is very much different from Minecraft, such as it won't have mechanics such as redstone, but will focus heavily on magic, and they are aiming for a fantasy-type ethos in the game, which I can see. Minecraft, as you all know, is open-ended without a theme. Hytale, however, has a theme, a fantasy theme, and that to me is a big difference. Not saying that's bad by any means. At Realm News, we believe that all games have their own right to exist. This applies to Hytale, and I, for one, think that Hytale entering the sandbox arena and being already so popular and it being led by such an enthusiastic leader, Laflamme, that this will indeed force Minecraft to be more inventive and creative as a response. Simply as a business response, if I'm to be honest. Minecraft will have to focus on some aspects that Hytale offers that will take some of Minecraft's base away. However, Hytale will not hurt Mojang. I can promise you that. It will just shake things up for a while until the dust settles and the two games find their own respective places in the world. They can both coexist, and I believe that many people will be crossing between the two games frequently, such as me. I would like to end there with Minecraft vs. Hytale talk and move on to one of Simon's longest Twitter posts that he has made. Quote, when I say Hytale is not good enough, I genuinely mean it. It's not some reverse psychology trick. Real talk. We are using a 4-year-old game built with over 300 versions, branches of prototypes that we Frankenstein together in record time into a single branch. None of it was meant to be released this quickly and in this way. There are barely any game progression mechanics configured, and we have to implement them all in record time to make it somewhat enjoyable. Of course, I'm confident it's going to be okay for release. However, this is the current situation we are dealing with. On top of all the bug fixes, refactors, cleanups, and other ongoing issues that we are facing, we inherited a true hardcore engineering and design challenge, and we are on the clock to deliver early access. The exploration of the game is fun, don't get me wrong, but man, I wish we had more time to get a few more features or configurations in to enhance that experience. But no, we break the curse of release and fix later. This will come at a significant cost. Some people will be permanently convinced the game is doomed to remain in this state, unaware that this is an authentic early access experience. I hope that people who share the game will explain the situation we are in and how we got there. Keep in mind, the gameplay video doesn't show much of the game loop because, well, there isn't much of it. Combat, game vibe, and exploration are great fun, but there need to be mechanics to keep it going over time. One thing I have learned over time is to enjoy the painful feedback. It is the most critical part of making games and improving yourself as a game designer. Of course, you have to be filtering out the ones that want to steer you in their own vision of what the game should be, so it's a balancing act. When I read negative feedback on the gameplay video, I don't get defensive or hurt. I'm literally like, yep, they're not wrong, or why do they think like this? How can I solve their problem? This has taken me years to get to that point. Our community over the last 14 years on MC has not been shy about giving us their feedback. The one thing I can promise is that the game is owned by someone who cares and understands the situation. and I will do my best to empower my team to make great game, however long it takes. This time, with all of you along for the ride, if you wish to be part of it." End quote. Of course, Realm News will be part of it, and we are, by covering it. Again, the transparency is impeccable. It is good to know that this is not going to be a complete version of Hytale when it releases initially. It will be full of flaws, bugs, and glitches, but that's the point. He's breaking the curse by making it publicly available, and then the team of over 50 devs will work on making the Hytale worthy of their vision. I personally take Mr. Laflamme's word when he says that he is committed to putting in the time in order to make this game a truly great game. He has done nothing but deliver on his promises, and he appears to be a hardworking, honest businessman with a lot of passion towards the projects that he focuses on. I have full faith that Hytale will be a one-of-a-kind game, a game for the ages. With that said, I would like to wrap up this week's Realm News Flash over Hytale by reading off a couple more tweets made by Laflamme. On November 22nd, he posted this, quote, "I received Technoblade's father's blessing to add something in Hytale that represents Technoblade's memory. I want the community involved in this. Please share your ideas for what would feel like a meaningful tribute. He was a big part of our journey with Hypixel, and I wish for him to be part of this one as well." End quote. This is a fantastic thing for Simon to do. I love that he cares for his community the way he does. I will be interested to see what the Hytale community comes up with as a representation for Technoblade. Some comments made by people as suggestions for the representation are from Big Dude, who says, quote, "To Simon_Hypixel, I think something perfect would be to have a pig that can spawn with a crown, but it is very rare. And when you approach it, it says press E to pay respects, and your character kneels and bows its head." End quote. Next, CA Stoneman says, quote, "Maybe you can tame the pig as well, and it can be your companion in your playthrough. Also, when you do, you unlock a way to make a plushie of a pig with a crown." End quote. And last, I can't pronounce the name. Arcanadragon suggests, quote, a Technoblade constellation in the sky would be beautiful. It wouldn't have to be visible every night, or maybe it's just a rare Easter egg, but it's more respectful than a boss or NPC that players could potentially treat disrespectfully in game and would be so touching, end quote. I personally love that last suggestion. A rare constellation would be a very meaningful remembrance of such a prolific member of the Minecraft gaming community. There are many, many more suggestions made, like 500 comments made in that tweet that I would not be able to read off today. Not enough time, but I'll leave that link in the show description for you all to check out. I am now going to rapid fire off these last posts made on Twitter today by Laflamme. At 7 a.m., he wrote this, quote, "Tested Hytale exploration mode game loop this morning for 2 hours. No crashes, lots of fun moments. Still lots of work ahead to make it good. Focusing on small wins for fast development. Large-scale QA starts tomorrow. Morning notes, NPCs are still acting weird sometimes, but can be fixed over time. Knockback on enemies feels wrong, needs complete overhaul. We added back shovel tool, but made it AOE, dig. Now it's actually useful and fun. Mining still feels bad, needs to implement momentum feature and potentially have the signature ability system to tools. As a whole, like weapons, so we can have fun coming up with the abilities probably post-launch. Side note, non-creative exploration mode, building improvements are happening. Block placement is starting to feel good. Rotations and connected blocks work well. Today I need to test our builder's bench with new changes. The problem is that we have way too many blocks for building, and honestly, it's a mess. Dozens of edge cases for crafting, and I want to simplify and make it fun, not tedious so players feel like empowered when building and not restricted, but need to keep immersion in mind. It's critical to get it right because it's a game where building is core to the game's experience, and at the moment, it's not there just yet. Months ago, it was very, very frustrating to build. Now it's actually decent, but still needs improvements. Today, we have small changes that might just make it work well. Extra note, Massive progress over the past week. Being on our own PC has accelerated progress by so much. However, it has personally slowed me down because I have been dealing with interviews, clips, screenshots, Q&A, and other things. It was important to do. Communication is critical so everyone understands the state of the game. The team has been very busy anyway, so it was probably a good thing I didn't put more on their plates. We'll do more reports as we progress if you guys like it, end quote. I'm sure everybody loves it. To recap this statement, earlier today, the team spent about 2 hours, the Hypixel team, I should say, 2 hours testing Hytale's exploration mode with no crashes and plenty of fun moments, which is a great sign as a large-scale QA, which is quality assurance, kicks off tomorrow. There's still a lot of polish needed. The NPCs are acting a bit strangely, according to Simon. Enemy knockback needs a full overhaul, and mining still doesn't feel quite right, though momentum-based mining and tool abilities are planned for the future, according to him. Building outside of creative mode is improving too. Block placement, rotations, and connected blocks are starting to feel good, but the builder's bench and the huge number of block options still need to be simplified so building feels empowering rather than tedious. And I totally get that. No one wants it to be like a difficult thing to build. That would be a huge turnoff, honestly. Anyways, one bright spot is that he mentions is the shovel, which has been reworked into an AoE, which means area of effect digging tool, and is now genuinely fun to use. Overall, the team has made massive progress this week thanks to development moving onto their own PC, even if communication duties have slowed things down a bit. But keeping everyone informed is important, and more reports will be coming down the pipe, as he mentioned, and Realm News will be here to report on this. I'm thrilled to hear that gains have been made in such little time. It's exciting to hear the developers making such fantastic progress. Another post that will intrigue content creators out there was also made this morning by Simon when he posted this, quote, YouTubers and modders, I am pleased to announce that Hytale will have a support a creator revenue share program. If you are interested, please keep an eye on @Hytale. We will be posting information on how to apply in the coming days, end quote. He attached to that post this, quote, your followers will be able to use your code, so you receive a percentage of the sales of Hytale. The percentage will be low to begin with, but as we become more comfortable and recoup the acquisition costs, we will increase the percentage. If you already have a code on Hypixel, you will keep your code, but will still need to reapply for Hytale, end quote. And he followed up with one more attached post. Quote, we have given out about $3 million to our creators so far through our test program on Hypixel involving a dozen creators, end quote. In other words, support creator revenue share for Hytale will allow YouTubers and modders to earn from sales with unique codes. It's a big win, building on a $3 million payout to a dozen creators with percentages rising as costs recover, and it's open to modders often underfunded. I love this incentive for us content creators to sign up and play Hytale. I am going to look into this myself, and you should too when it becomes accessible. One last post was made as I write this script that is worth mentioning as we enter the next week. Simon on Twitter on November 23rd at 12:16 p.m. posted this. Next blog post, creative tools for builders coming up this week, end quote. And I'm sure that's going to come out as the same day tomorrow or today as you listen to it, Monday, right? The 24th, I'm sure will be released. I look forward to it, Monsieur Laflamme. I appreciate how you communicate with us, and I can't wait to report on the latest blog posts, which will be found at hytale.com. With that said, my friends, that is all I have for today at Realm News Flash Hytale Edition. Before I let you go, I would like to say thank you for joining the newest Realm News podcast, Realm News Hytale. This is a brand new podcast with a brand new game, and we are still formulating the format of the show and how we're going to relay Hytale news and our Hytale gameplay videos with Neon Gaming Adventures. It will be an evolution as time moves on, so please bear with me as the show evolves for the best. It is my goal to make Realm New Hytale just as engaging and informative as the original Realm News and Realm News Flash Minecraft Edition. It is my intent to make Realm News Hytale the forefront news podcasts over Hytale in the world. Thank you all once again for tuning in, and I will see you all this Wednesday for a brand new episode. The Dark Lord, signing out. Hey, Realm News fans, it's your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am here to tell you that your support means everything. Spread the word by telling friends, liking, and commenting on Spotify or Good Pods. Find me on X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or via email at bio.link/realm news. For more content, join my Patreon at the Copper tier for early episodes, bonus content, and newsletters. Find out more at bio.link/realm news. No pressure though. Just keep listening, liking, and sharing. That's more than enough. Happy crafting, and see you at the next Realm News.